that the budget truly reflects the values and needs of our community. Your participation tonight is not just welcome, it is essential. I want to thank all of the Board of Education members that have been intricately involved in ensuring Balancing Act is a reality for our district and our community for making it a reality as well. Together, we will build a budget that best serves our students and our schools. Slide 2. So, one of the things that I already reiterated is that our strategic plan is going to lead how we allocate dollars for our 2025-2026 school year budget. As you can see in front of you, we have goal number 1 or priority number 1, which is instructional excellence, preparing students for life. You see goals 1A through 1D, which are our board goals, and that is what we are going to be measuring how successful we are as a school district or not. For goals 1A, 1B, and 1C, they all center around grades 3 through 8, English language arts, and mathematics achievement, 1 in grades 3, and 2 of the goals, 1A and 1C, will be looking at ELA and math from grades 3 through 8. Finally, goal 1D is we're looking to increase the amount of 9th graders earning 5 or more credits from 70% to 90% by June of 2028. Priority number 2, provide healthy, joyful, and inclusive school culture and climate. Again, this has 4 different goals that are attached to this priority. The first one is to ensure that all of our schools are enacting restorative practices. We are continuing to reduce out-of-school suspensions, and we have a goal of reducing that to below 8.5% by 2028. We need to lower chronic absenteeism, and we want to do so by 25% by 2028. And finally, we want to use our student annual climate surveys to ensure that we hear the voices of students and staff, and we want to ensure 75% of our student population actually report that they feel safe and belong in our school buildings. Priority number 3 is recruit, grow, and retain. There's 2 goals associated with this, there are 4, 2 of them are on this slide. First, goal 3A, raise BIPOC, biracial persons of color, teacher representation from 24% to 30% by 2028. And then goal 3B, boost professional development participation by 10% and maintain feedback ratings of 3 and 4 plus within the next 3 years. We don't want to just offer professional learning. We also want to hear that teachers or staff are also getting something out of the learning that we are providing to them. Goal 3C, we want to continue to advance diversity, equity, inclusion through exclusive practices, raising student engagement and satisfaction via surveys and annual progress. And finally, goal 3B, we must improve employee retention by 5% in the next 3 years. 3 years. Thank you. Next. Priority number 4, strengthening school, family, and community engagement. There are 4 goals also associated with this priority. Goal 4A, ensure all RCSD schools adopt the community school model by 2028. 4B, achieve 100% parent representation on all school-based planning teams by 2028. Goal 4C, boost parent portal signups by 30% through improved communication. And just an FYI, Parent Portal is the way that parents can access their students' grades in real time. And finally, Goal 4D, increase parents' sense of belonging in schools from 59% to 75% by 2028. We don't want just our students to belong. It is important and imperative that our families as a whole feel that they belong in our buildings as well. And finally, operational efficiency and excellence. 4 goals associated with this priority. Goal 5A, this is where we are enlisting your support to ensure we submit a balanced budget to the Board of Education. 5B, we want to keep revenue over budget within 1% and expenses under budget within 2%. Goal 5C, optimize facilities and transportation, improving efficiency by 15% and utilization by 10% in 3 to 5 years. And then finally, 5D, invest in facilities to improve learning and safety. So as you could see, I gave an overview of our strategic plan and our strategic plan commitments and goals that are associated with them. And now I will be introducing our Chief of Staff, Lashara Evans.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our listening audience on YouTube. This is when we are going to get interactive. There is a QR code right here that you can scan using, if you have a smartphone, if you're at home, you can use it on your computer. Once you open that up, I will go through the directions of the tool where we can hear directly right from you. So I'll give you a minute to open that up. And even if you don't have a phone or electronic device, you can use you have the actual strategic plan right there, so you can go ahead and I'll show you. You can rank what you want to have 1 through 7. When I go through it, you can do it right in your booklets. Sir, do you have a booklet? I'm gonna gift you a booklet. Oh, you have one, okay. I'll bring my teacher out of me. Once you're done, just give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready. All right. So with this tool, you have 7 points. You have 7 available points. And if you look down here, these are the 5 priorities that Dr. Strickland mentioned. If you click on each of them and you scroll down, you will see the goals that are associated with each priority. The easiest way, though, is to look at all of them. So if you click on all, you see all of them. And I'm going to scroll down. They're also color-coded. So if you're trying to say, like, okay, which goal is that associated with? Instructional excellence is yellow, and that's priority 1 in your strategic plan. Healthy, joyful school culture and climate is like a amber color, gold. And you see the 4 that are associated with that priority. Recruit, grow, and retain is blue. And then you can scroll down and see the 4. Strengthen school, family, and community engagement is green. And operational efficiency and excellence is purple. So I'm going to go back to all. And if this was me taking this, I would scroll down, and I'm going to select my 7. You can select it in any order first. So I'm going to select my 7. And it tells you at the top how many you selected. So I've selected 2. I have 5 more to select. And chronic absenteeism, BIPOC, order practices, and post-parent portal. So I selected my 7, and if you scroll down to the bottom and you hit submit, here are my 7, and I'm going to choose my affiliation. I would say staff. And then now you can move them in order of which your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So you can actually move them up. I'm going to say submit a balance to the, and this is just an example. I'm not saying that's my number one priority, but submit a balanced budget to the board. I'm going to say lower chronic absenteeism for second for me. And you can move them up and down. If you have your booklet, just go ahead and circle the 7, and then we'll collect your booklets, and I'll make sure I'll get it into the system so your voice is heard. To the listening audience, if you have any questions, you can type it right in the chat. Dejan and Tom, you'll be able to let me know if anybody has any questions. And then once you organize how you want it listed for your top 7, you let me know you're not a robot, and you hit submit. I'll give you a minute to do that. And I'll make sure I'll collect the booklets. If you put your names in, can you put your names on your booklets, the ones that's completing it and using the book? If you make a mistake, you can uncheck it too, just so you know. You can uncheck it, yep. So if you're watching now, and if you know anybody that wants to participate in this tool, it's going to be available until February 21st on the website, in the budget section. Anyone in the community can participate and take this tool. Yep, students, staff, parents, community members. Am I missing anyone? Teachers, everyone. And I'm not going to click submit because I don't want to skew data, because that's not my 7 that I would put if I was completing it in order that way. We're all set? You got it? And I don't want to influence any of you by my choices. So now we're going to open it up for a minute. We're doing a minute and a half? Yep. A minute and a half for any of the priorities that you listed. We want to hear more specific about those priorities. So for example, if you chose Boost Parent Portal signups, if you have something specific to that and you want to share with the superintendent, I'm going to take notes as well, but you're welcome to take the mic for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And if anybody online, if you have something to share, please put it in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get that information as well. Please.
Good evening. They didn't tell us how long we had when I called in, so I prepared a statement. I'm not sure how long it is, but it addresses several things in the document that we were given. It states in the budget planning process calendar that the initial draft budget book was created on January 17th, 2025, and presented to the separate superintendent on January 28th, 2025. Why wasn't that document presented to the public at the same time? The link given at the bottom of the page refers to the adopted budget, not the current draft budget book. As well as I peruse the district's board docs, none of the information about the budget is up to date, and very little information offered is current. I'm not sure who is responsible for answering the question the public asks. However, 2 months ago, I asked several questions about the adopted budget that have still gone unanswered. Why should I expect transparency in this process since I'm unable to access the information that must be reviewed? How can you say you want community input when the community has been shut out of our information, your processes, and even the building? How can you say you want transparency when the policies under review are listed but not accessible for review? And though a link says budget overview, you're taking back to the planning process page. Interim Superintendent Strickland's budget testimony before New York State Joint Legislative Hearing said nothing about specific real plans to save this district from failure. Strickland told the committee currently 29% of our public school students in the city of Rochester attend charter schools. This year, we will pay more than $141 million in charter school tuition. To public to publicly state that nearly 1/3 of our students want out of our system of education speaks volumes. Not to mention that charter schools are RCSD schools. To complain that the RCSD will pay more than $141 million to support RCSD students is ridiculous. Instead of saying we implore you to place a moratorium on adding charter schools and expanding current schools, why aren't we asking why are so many parents moving their children away from district-managed buildings? The former superintendent predicted our children's failure into the year 2028, and the board questioned this failure but saw it as the board didn't question the failure but saw it as an accomplishment. To accept the failure of our children for another 4 years is unconscionable. I am extremely concerned about the direction this district has taken and that it will continue to take in the miseducation of our children. We continue to fund failure with tax dollars instead of directing those dollars towards the excellent education of our children. When will you stop?
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a quick question. It says on mine, oh, well, this
was
isn't my
about the
official,
tool.
this isn't my official comment yet, but it says you are currently viewing a preview of the simulation. Please view the published version in order to submit. Are other people getting that? So I don't know. I'd love to fill out your thing.
Let me make sure, because it's activated. Yes, you can. So I am going to time, because I know Ms. Thomas, she didn't know how long, so I did allow her to finish reading, but I am going to put the timer on for 1:30, and I will have to cut you off after 1:30,
It's
okay?
okay, mine is short, so
Okay.
when they call me at the phone at home, they said that the budget.
You move up to the mic,
Yeah, the
please?
budget, I was gonna be sitting down with everybody who's city council, over here, with the Lanson and everybody, so we can talk about what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, not looking at a barcode and going through a book and answering questions. I want to sit down with everybody so I can make my own opinions in there. As a grandma, parent, I have that right. So we know what's going on and where the money's going to.
Thank you.
Would you be able to put the QR code up back again?
Yeah, Dejan, can you put the QR code back up again?
Still says the same thing.
And the same thing? Dejan, can you show my computer so I can put in the actual website? I'm gonna have you going through the actual HTTP RCSD. Put in this link right here, please. Sorry. Yeah, send them to the budget page, yeah. Is it working? Yeah, that's what I was about to do. Let me see if they're able to get it. They got it this way first. Well, he might just submit it. Can I ask another question? 1 second. Yeah, I'm about to pull up the budget page.
So, on page 3,
Hold on, give me 1 second. No, I was saying, give me 1 second.
oh,
1
okay, I'm
second, yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Jamie. We're gonna try it this way. If you go to www.rcsdk12.budget, click on provide your feedback, try to do it on that way. Because someone else just tried to do it that way and it worked. Oh, you wanna take another? Yeah, go ahead.
So on page 3, we're given staff, employees, median teacher salary, and years of experience, and we're not given the median administrator salary and years of experience.
Yeah, no, not for the profile. It was not included.
No, it,
No, just the teacher salary, yes.
okay, so will that be included in future information?
It's included in the budget book.
And
So
when will the
budget
budget PM be put online
it?
for the community?
goes online when? Past one, you was talking about the past one for this year?
I'm talking about the one that was received in January, what, January 17th or 28th or something like that? The present budget book is not online. Only the adopted budget book is online.
From last fiscal year?
Yes. So when
Yes.
will the new presented,
When the budget is passed, right? Yeah.
only after the budget's passed? It's not up for
March
review by the
1st.
community
March
before
1st.
then?
March 1st.
March 1st. So we don't get a look at it now.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of,
Good questions. So just to answer your questions, what's going to happen is on March 1st, we have to submit a budget to our state monitor so that he is aware of where we are, of the expected revenues and expenditures that we are going to have. And then from there, we're going to still go into our continuous deliberations, hear from different stakeholders. This information that we gather from the participatory budgeting will be taken into account, and we will align the dollars based off of what it is that the community is saying and the needs that we see that are internal.
okay, so the budget that you got in January, we won't see until March.
So the budget that came out in January is the executive budget from the governor. That is her preliminary numbers for school aid runs that every school district has received. That is how we are subsequently going to be able to develop or submit our budget to our state monitor by March 1st.
Right.
And we're going to be taking all of the information from families, communities, staff, students, so on and so forth. And that helps us facilitate and create the budget book that we know of. And what we will do is ensure that last year's budget book is online, as I thought it
Last
it
year's
should
budget
be.
book is online.
Okay, good.
But I'm still kind of referring to that governor's executive document that was received.
So
That's not
generally-
going to be available to the public?
Generally, that's not available to the public because that's her recommendations. That's not
Right.
what is set in stone. Once we
Would it
start,
be possible for me to get a copy of that document?
sure, because it's available to the public.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
And how
no
would I
hiding
request
that.
that?
You know what? It is online, and we'll have someone direct you to get to it tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? So the tool is working on the website. So as you can see, last year, we only did the participatory budgeting process by just asking your feedback on our budget book. This year, we're taking it a step further, asking where should we assign our dollars or align our dollars to as per our strategic plan, so that we ensure that we are taking the needs of the community into the forefront for this year's budget building process. Absolutely.
Thanks so much for this. I appreciate the
Absolutely.
opportunity to be engaged in the process.
Thank you.
So I'm a mother of 2 kids at School 12, and I also happen to be the executive director of the Climate Solutions Accelerator of the Genesee Finger Lakes region. So I was thrilled to see that, adopting energy efficiency measures and investing in, green initiatives, as well as teaching children about environmental stewardship is in here.
Yes.
And just some specifics that I'm hoping will kind of back that up. If there is not already a dedicated person who is a director of sustainability or something like that in charge of making this happen, I think that would be a worthwhile investment, even just for the cost savings potential that can then be invested elsewhere.
Yes.
As well as want to put in a plug for investing more in the nature-based learning program that we've enjoyed very much at School 12,
Yep.
and would love to see that adopted throughout the district. Preparing children for the future, I think, really must include kind of making them more aware of what's happening currently and how
Yes.
to steward the environment. So investment in that program would be awesome. And similarly, in the electrification of the bus fleet, which I know is a very expensive proposition, but just from a health perspective, having children breathe in diesel fuel fumes every morning when they arrive to school is no good, and it is, of course, at this point, a state mandate as well. So curious what the details of your plan to implement that are. And thank you for including this, as well as all the other great stuff.
Of course. No, and great comments. I really do appreciate it. We do have our chief of operations actually he works with our Department of Finance to ensure that we're looking for energy efficiencies. I think we know what's going on, and
I want to make a plug for a person who's dedicated to that full time, because
Yes.
for a district of this size with this many buildings,
understood. So, I definitely hear you, full-time person for that process, but I do want you to know that there are people in place to actually ensure that goes forward, but that is definitely noted. Definitely understand about the nature-based program. I've been a strong proponent of the nature-based program at school number 12. For that, you would actually want to also look at priority number 1, because the nature-based program is subsequently going to improve outcomes in English language arts and mathematics. So with boosting the number of ticks for priority number 1, that is going to ensure that our dollars are going directly towards children to impact them in the classroom. And finally, the bus fleet. Definitely, we know that is on the state's radar. Currently, we know that we want to go to an energy efficient system where we use electricity and not gas. Unfortunately, what I do know is that all of Monroe County and many of the counties in New York State do not have the infrastructure as of right now to make that happen. So we have been talking with and advocating on a delayed approach for that as it stands now. And I would just say continue to look forward to receiving updates, and definitely will be transparent.
May I push back on you slightly?
No problem.
Instead of advocating for a delayed approach, it would be great to advocate for investment in the electrical grid, right? Like our children's future is at stake. And so this is not an insurmountable problem for the utility companies and for the state. It just requires investment. So yes, the grid is a problem. The existing infrastructure is a problem, but not an insurmountable one, and not one that the school district should have to figure out by themselves.
I agree with that.
And one last point, actually,
Yes.
that you made me think of. The professional development of guidance counselors to direct young people toward clean energy jobs. There is so much opportunity. We need people in the clean energy workforce. And, for the most part, I think guidance counselors don't know what the pathways are toward those jobs. So supporting them in figuring that out, and then, the education of students, again, to just know that these opportunities exist, because they're good
Awesome.
jobs.
Awesome, valid points. Thank you very much for sharing. I really do appreciate it. Do we have any other comments or commentary? Yes, sure. Come up to the mic. Okay, go ahead.
In order for us to do all that she's talking about, we have to get the right thing now. Teach their kids to, before they pass grade, to read or write,
Yes.
do math, and all this stuff like that. It sounds so lovely, and the spending and stuff like that. Put attention to the child, and then you know where to go from there on.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't do that, you're putting the money nowhere, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely understand.
Years, empty.
Yeah,
The parents,
yeah,
where the community.
yeah. And one of the things that we want to continuously do, what happens is, I think I equate this to being continuously, or there's a feeling of left out. If you feel left out, then you get disengaged. And one of the things that I wanted to ensure that we do is to ensure that we engage our community and stakeholders in all of our processes. Even if, there's 2, 4, 6 people here, I will engage 6 people. And then what I will hope for is that as we continue to move forward in the future, I will engage then 10, and I will engage 20, and so on and so forth, until we get back to the space where everyone feels that they're involved in their children's education. So we're just going to quickly go through our budget calendar just for the public so that everyone is aware of what we are continuously doing. That's slide number 10. So I will be providing the Board of Education budget presentation on February 27th, and a lot of that information that will be presented is by using these data along with the data that we know to present what our strong priorities are going to be for the 2025-2026 school year. The budget deliberations will take place on April 1st, 15th, and the 29th of 2025. That is where the Board of Education will look at the draft budget book, which is in the process of being developed. You're talking about staffing, salaries, so on and so forth, that all encompass into that book, as well as school profiles, so on and so forth. And the Board of Education has their chance to ask for that information from, or questions that are related to the budget book. We will then travel to City Council to do their budget hearing, and that takes place on April 22nd of 2025. And then finally, on May 6th of 2025, we hope to have a Board of Education vote on the adoption of the budget for the next school year. And with that being said, I appreciate you all coming. I thank the folks that are on YouTube coming. What I would hope is that you talk to families, talk to your neighbors, talk to people that are with you to help further engage them. I am lifting the voice. I'm given the opportunity, and I would like to continue to ensure that it seems that way. And we definitely take this serious. And with that being said, thank you for your attendance and participation. Thank you.